How goes it, everybody? Randy here with Nerds Templar. This is our 1 month anniversary for our Pokemon trading card game collection experience. New experience, I guess. Fresh, as you can tell from maybe the cards back in the back there. All the old cards. Not all the oldest, I guess. We have some Neo Genesis there. These are the stacks of base set 2 that I have left to go through. In fact, those Neo Genesis are my duplicate stack. I have been posting these videos now. I'm in fact currently uploading episode 2, which is actually episode 3 because I did an episode 0 with our, if you remember back in the day, the MJ Holding Company packs. Yeah, episode 0 there. Didn't really count. And right after that, it was actually the same day I ended up opening one of the first things, which was, I don't have everything here with me. This is the office. I moved a lot of things down to the living area. But this is still up here from when I was doing one of the previous videos. I got the Silver Tempest portfolio, and I opened my first new booster, which was the Silver Tempest. In here is Silver Tempest, all of that. In fact, what's one of the first cards that we got from there? I think there you have it. Frostlass, in fact, was one. Victini was the only rare we got from the 2 MJ Holding Company packs. Got one rare at least. I guess we shouldn't be too... I guess we should be happy about that. And Breaksin also came from that first Silver Tempest. Cool Swablu reverse holo. Nice little reminiscence here. Reuniclus. That was a cool one. Kirlia is still one of the best. The unhollow uncommon Kirlia, but the unknown V kind of took the cake there. And in the back here, just a little brief overview of maybe some of the other things we did. Hopefully more of these types of cards will be in one place eventually. But for now, it's just these. I have, of course, Blissey and Gardevoir V. Were those Vs? Somewhere that came in tins. These were 2 tins I got recently, Umbreon and Espeon V. And then we had the Venusaur and Blastoise theme decks. Eldegoss V, that was a collection, Shining Fates collection that came from our local Walmart. We've been to the local Dollar General, snagging some good things that they have there. In fact, recently, the last thing we did, of course, if you are watching, you already know that we just grabbed this and opened those 2 packs. And they have 2 other ones that I would like to hopefully grab before it's too late from there. 2 of those other mini tins from Galar Forces, Galar Power. 5 of them. There's only 2 types left. There were 2 of each though, Galarian Rapidash and Galarian Obstagoon, the only Obstagoon that I know of, at least. So that is that. We reordered all of this. I got this new binder from DG. From Amazon, I got a whole new set of 36 sleeves, fresh, clean sleeves, and immediately used all of them. So I ordered another 36, and we'll probably immediately use those as well. So I might need more, but I got the exact same ones, and that'll be nice to fill out. I've put in here, I have ordered this a bit more because now we have more sleeves. I actually didn't do much in here. This is mostly our new stuff, all the new stuff, in fact, pretty sure. And yeah, you see there are Scarlet Violet. I'm gonna just flip through quickly here the collection, and these are all gonna be reordered too, and put into a different. There's one of the older ones, Spidops EX there. These will be put into, and those are 2 promos we got, blisters, Scarlet Violet blisters, and then put in the new sleeves. Put in, right now they're in lowest to highest value, which is how we began doing everything pretty much at the beginning. But now we started to, well, at least with the old stuff, which, you know, we have a lot of already, and I mostly already have the whole collection of. I actually put them in order of number, so we can see the collection a little better, track that. And eventually then these newer ones too, because they're new and we'll be getting enough boosters in the future to probably get, at least again with like we are with the other ones, at least all the commons and uncommons. In this case with the new cards, the way they work, probably most of the regular rares as well, and just not the ultra rares or whatever they would call all the V's and the EXs and things like that. So as we go, we're going earlier in time now. We hit a certain spot there after we went through all my Scarlet and Violet, and some of these were very new Scarlet and Violet packs that I opened. Then we go with Silver Tempest would be first, and eventually it will be in here, but right now I just have it in the mini portfolios. And again, as I go, these will all be ordered, all of these sets, once I put them in their new sleeves. They will also be ordered in number order then. Series number order, whatever you want to call them. And I have so many football cards. I just grabbed these from the side there, from beside me. I have a whole set of this series sitting next to me. They were in sleeves. I took them out. But I have so many other cards that will be replacing these in the older sleeves, because these sleeves are still just fine. But I do want to put I do want to get new sleeves for all the new cards and the old cards, because they're worth so much. So anywho, yeah, there's that. And now again we're into whatever, you know, the sword, and we're going sword and shield from latest sets to the earliest sets. Some of these are, I think, where this Fusion Strike here, Evolving Skies is probably right now my best series of cards. I think that I'm using the terminology correctly. I'm learning a lot as I go. I was very unknowledgeable a month ago, and I'm slowly learning. You veterans out there are probably laughing as I go, but that's okay. You're probably also enjoying my slow learning of how this all works. But this is why I say Evolving Skies is my best series at the moment. I like I love the Golduck and the Shelgon reverse hollows. We have the Arctivish V, of course, which is great. The full face guard, really cool hollow, which was worth a decent bit. And of course, the Vaporeon V, which was like $13 or something when I looked. Eventually, all these energies will be somewhere else. Especially once I have like different boxes and things, sort of like this, which is an Ultra Pro deck box I got from my local-ish comic book store and card shop, which is another place we've now begun to frequent. I'll be going there. This is Saturday, as you can maybe see on this clock there. I'll be going back actually next Saturday for the pre-release of the next Pokemon boosters, so we'll see what happens there. Something will probably happen that day. But I'll also be going there to get individual card sleeves, hopefully 2 decks worth. I do, of course, already have a deck's worth of individual card sleeves in my my old 2020, I think it is, Trainer's Toolkit, the red one, the first one, I believe. But we haven't opened that yet. Still waiting on that. Still waiting on my Pikachu V Shining Fates collection, which has 4 Shining Fates boosters, the Pikachu V card and the Jumbo card as well. I've actually just been using it as a display piece, like a super nerd, still in its packaging, because I just haven't opened yet. So there's those. There's a couple other things that are still coming, of course. And then, of course, there's the new cards. There's a pre-release party next Saturday. Yeah. And then there's still the fact that I'm not really as worried about the new stuff, because that'll be around enough for me to, to get more eventually. But the older stuff is where I'm at, especially because I don't want to wait too long for some of the things that I may want to get, and for the prices to start really going up like crazy, or just for them to be gone forever. Because TCGplayer.com doesn't have everything It has a lot more than PokemonCenter.com does. Places I've begun to also frequent online to look for things, to evaluate things, all sorts of stuff. And also another one I use is PokeData.io. It's been very useful for me for values. That's the thing you usually see me using when I'm opening a pack and then looking through the values. Although now, obviously, I'm more or less using TCGplayer.com for my own looking at values, because that's where I would actually go if I'm, going to get something, or if I'm going to sell something eventually. Because, like I said, a lot of the stuff back there is duplicate stuff. These all back behind these sleeved Neogenesis, which are my best Neogenesis cards, eventually will be in one of these binders, but I don't have the room right now. Those are all duplicates of like off-brand top. I think they're all pretty much tops from like the early TV series and other things they did. We'll see in a moment. But anyway, yeah. So what were these? My other Shining Fates here. Speaking of Shining Fates, a couple other decent. So there was only 5 packs. We had the Eldegoss V, got a Crobat V, and the Delmise V Max out of the 5 packs. That didn't seem too bad to me. Darmanitan V Max. We have some decent cards, to be honest with you. Here's our Gardevoir and Blissey. They aren't Vs or anything special from the other tins I had. Those were early tins. It was like 2019 maybe. So we actually had some. They both had one each Cosmic Eclipse Sun and Moon pack, which was the last Sun and Moon. We are not in that yet. This is, I think this is Sword and Shield base set we're looking at here. These were, yeah, those were Vivid Voltage we were just looking at. I don't know why I put Gardevoir and Blissey there. Yeah, Sword and Shield got an awesome Pikachu. Again, these are all still all in value order, so that's why you're seeing these at the end. Although, would these also be at the end anyway? Yeah, 79 and 202, not really. Not really. What would be? What would be? Here's 6. Okay, well, wait. Pikachu's 65, Morpeko's 79. So that's interesting. 90 here for Poltergeist. 84. I think they might be in type order nowadays. And maybe the best cards come last, like commons to ultra rares in type order. Is that seems a lot more confused than what it used to be. But anyway, now we are into Sun and Moon, I think. No, this is our, yeah, we're into Sun and Moon, the Cosmic Eclipse, I'm sure. Because we would have had 2 packs of that. Oh yeah, there's another Pikachu, so that was cool. Glalie. Got both evolutions of Snorunt, but I don't think we have any Snowrunts, so unfortunate. Here's one of our theme decks, the only theme deck we have in the thing right now. This is the Rocksteady from Burning Shadows. Is that one of the early Sun and Moon ones? Is that what it's called? Or Lycan Rock? In value order, and then we hit, after mostly Burning Shadows cards, we have a couple from whatever the series was right before that, and then and that was between that and Cosmic and the Sun and Moon base set, which we then also have here starting at the potion. These are all Sun and Moon base set. These were a decent value. I actually have it next to me, but I would have to just shuffle through some of these pages to find exactly what I'm looking for. Oh, and there it is. Well, it was $1.44 for each of these. That's not too bad. And that drastically beats out anything else. It's 28 for the timer balls. Professor Kukui was 24. The rescue stretcher was 59. 39 for Brooklet Hill, and I don't know how that ended up there. Lucario was 41. 35 for Escape Rope. Lucario's 41. Yeah, all right. Anyway, so yeah, that was that, and then a bunch of the energies. And so that's kind of just in its place. I don't know what I'm going to do exactly for the theme decks. If I'm going to just end up, I would like to kind of keep them together so they're easy to pull out and use. But at the same time, if I'm not going to get any more of some of these cards, I would also like them to be in their respective spots in the series. Anyway, here is where these papers are, which is the values of all of these. The cards we got basically when we bought out the few cards that my local comic book store had, the singles, bought them out, and then I ordered them from, again, like most of this stuff, latest to earliest stuff. These are Brilliant Stars, and all of these will eventually be incorporated into the regular collection because because all these will be, hopefully everything will eventually be in new sleeves at some point, and then they'll be ordered, all of them in series order, and they'll be then put in chronological order like a collection should be. It would be a pretty good looking collection, I think. And I think the collection, a full collection in itself, is worth more than, just having some individual cards or whatever. But yeah, and in doing so, we end up with so many multiples, and then you can build decks from those and give them away. I was actually going to talk about that. With all my vast amount of duplicates, because I have a duplicate pile which is gone right now. It's actually in the my oldest duplicates, the ones from base set and fossil and jungle, are all in here, and this is holding up to 4 of any card, and again, that's the duplicates. So I now have another binder, which is the main binder, only holding 1 of each card. And so this is, again, where all the rest are up to 4 more. So everything else that isn't within that, also my old promos, Wizards of the Coast promos, are still in there as well. It's even holding it's holding exactly enough for my Merrill, which I think is number 29, to be the last card. So I'm going to, I guess, work on the first 29 promos, but mainly like the first, 15 or so, I think was what I was more focused on. So all the extras are mostly here in these piles. This is a pile of extras, and I didn't go through like the rocket duplicates and other things yet, so it's mostly those first 3 sets so far. Jungle, well, these all have a Pokeball on top. But so what I was doing though with all these duplicates, massive duplicates, there's a bunch of Eevees and a bunch of Pikachus here. There's some Grimers, some Spearows, some Zubats, some Coughings, and then of course all these that are sitting here in 3 different piles. I was trying to make like makeshift decks from these to kind of use to give the kids to begin with, and then you allow them to use to kind of learn even how to battle, because again, they're like duplicates. And then whenever I was looking at them, I'm thinking to myself, man, it's almost like we had one or even more than one of a theme deck back in the day, and that's why we have so many of certain cards like Zubat and Coughing and Grimer and Geodude. And then I look and then I realize, oh, hey, look at that. That's called the Bodyguard theme deck from Fossil. No wonder. So some of these are different because I was just throwing them. I don't have the whole thing, but I have 4 Coughings, 2 Bulbasaur, an Onix, 2 Golbats, 4 Zubat, 4 Grimer, 2 Graveler, 3 Geodude, and yeah, I'm dumb enough to, back in the day when I was trying to sell some cards, before I stopped trying to sell the cards almost immediately, in a yard sale, I was dumb enough to put stickers directly on cards. And you know what? I kept picking the uncommons because I kept putting uncommons on the top of packs I was making. And they were pretty legit. I mean, I wasn't trying to screw people. They're certainly worth probably more than $5 nowadays. But not with a sticker that's with this marker that probably bled through. So anyway, again, it's excess. These are the super excess cards. I will take that off eventually. It might have stained that 5 into there, but whatever. It just means that we'll be using it to play with. 2 Graveler, 3 Geodude, and some energy, but not the whole. I have so many. I have more energies than I need for sure, but I don't know. I want to have even more, I guess, maybe. But I have plenty, more than enough to of even in just the base set to remake these or whatever. But that's everything except 2 potions, 2 Professor Oak cards, a Pokemon Center, and again some of the energies. And again, those were all. I have duplicates enough of all of those things. I just don't have excess. So literally in the excess pile, more than 5, I could make almost the entire bodyguard theme deck. This one is made into, or at least the beginnings of, what was this? Rhyhorn, Meowth, Eevee. Second one on here, but Water Blast from Jungle. And this is missing 13 cards, not counting energies, but again, not too worried. It's water and fighting energies. I have 8 that I had already picked out of fighting energies, so I had 4 in each of these piles. Again, as I attempt to remake these. And again, I only need 13 more. So if I would grab some like moderately or heavily played cards, which most, or at least maybe half of these are, because these are the worst of them. That would be like $1 maybe to finish this off, if that. So I think it'd be worth it maybe. Again, to remake these theme decks and to be able to use those basically anytime with the kids, to introduce the kids. And this is much easier, I think, than what it's at these days. You could probably teach a kid how to play with all the new roles, but back in the day with all the old roles, it was a little more simple. But anyway, this one is not much obviously yet, but I did realize that I had, because I was trying to make a deck out of that was focused on this. And then so, yeah, these were extras, not the Pokeballs. That was just, I have a lot of Pokeballs. So I just threw them in as extras and everything. But this, I figured because there was 2 Bellsprouts and 2 Nidoran, that kind of was like, that has to have been something too. I don't know if we ever had it or not, but this would be the beginnings to the Power Reserve Jungle theme deck, which is, of course, there was Water Blast, the last one we looked at, which would have a Vaporeon as its main card. The first one would have had a Muck as its main card, Hollow Muck. This one would have had a Hollow Kangaskhan. I don't know if we ever actually had this one or not, but maybe just happened to have extra Bellsprouts and Nidoran females. So we only have 5 cards toward that deck. But I think we could probably also remake that one pretty easily. Maybe not that Kangaskhan so much, but everything else. And I'm not so much worried about, and Kangaskhan's easy to replace as just a plain, a white, a normal Pokemon. But yeah, that would actually be both of them, the jungles and the other fossil I was looking at. Again, with just the duplicates I have, I could easily remake all of these decks, but I'm just trying to use excess cards. And I don't have any of, well, I might have like 1, because I think they're, and also, oh yeah, there's also the base set 2-player starter set and the original base set 2-player starter sets. I actually have the whole, I haven't looked through the base set 2, but I did do like a quick search through, and I have the entire thing by far, probably 2 whole things worth, because and that's why I have so many of the first edition Machamps, which also were remade for the base set 2, but they weren't actually remade for base set 2 itself, just for that 2-player starter set. They remade them, but they didn't change anything except, I guess, the hollow, because the hollow, the way they did the hollows ended up changing by base set 2. So that changed, and I think and that's a way to know that these are all from technically the base set 2 starter set. There's one Machamp here. There's one that's actually in my base set collection, and then there's a third one. So yeah, I think we might have actually had 3 of those starter sets. There's my crinkled Moltres. Love that. My pal. And so yeah, we're gonna definitely have those as well. Probably 2 whole ones, but those things were supposed to be makeable into 2 mini decks. But I guess yeah, you could use it as one deck. I think it would work just fine. It'd be like a fighting and water deck, which is the same as the Water Blast one is. But so I would like to, then I would have basically, there was only 2 fossil and 2 jungle theme decks. We could probably remake all 4 of those. And then we'd have the 2-player starter sets from both base set 1 and 2. And then I think there's actually 4 theme decks that are different in both the base set and the base set 2. Maybe someday we could work on those, but I don't know. I don't know if that'll happen. Then of course we get the theme decks, just the newer ones too. And there's also these 2 theme decks, which I was pretty sure I had the whole one of this in the back, which is the Fire Red theme deck from the Fire Red Leaf Green expansion, EX expansion. And that is, yeah, the entire thing. This is the only Fire Red Leaf Green cards I have. So yeah, it's a 60 count there. So that's a theme deck that's ready to be used anytime, and that's and maybe a good second level theme deck to try to use, because it's, again, it's a little newer, but it's still not new. It's just a little newer. It's like a few years older than the originals. And then this was also I definitely then had this Aquapolis, I think it's called Abyss theme deck, featuring Porygon 2, Kingdra, and Ninetales. But I'm missing, let's see if that should be here somewhere. Oh, yeah, there it is. Missing, it's just a little too high to see the number I put there. Oh, 11, I think, yeah. 11 cards, including the Porygon 2, unfortunately. And another Porygon, and some energies. I don't know if, I think maybe the 11 included the energies. And I'm not really sure exactly where these 2 cards came from, because they're from Dragon EX, I think is what that's called, which is before the Fire Red Leaf Green, but a decent bit after Aquapolis here. And I don't have any other cards between those 2 sets. And these did not come from the Fire Red Leaf Green theme deck, which, like I said, was the only thing that I got after Aquapolis, actually. I may have had more Aquapolis boosters, but I didn't buy any other cards of any sort other than that Fire Red theme deck a year or whatever, 2 years later, until now with our new sets. But anyway, yeah, this is mostly almost the whole Abyss theme deck. So we'll also have that raring to go pretty soon. I don't think that can't cost too much, I wouldn't imagine, to finish off, although we will have to maybe pay a little bit, $1 maybe or something for the Porygon 2. We'll see. Since it's from a theme deck, it's probably not worth as much as the other rares would be, normally from that set, because it is pretty old. All these are pretty old, the ones that, except the ones in this book specifically, which again, we're at the end of. These start getting older though. Again, still in the singles we got from the from our local comic book store and card shop, which it's mainly the comic book store, but it does do a decent bit of card stuff. And like I said, this coming Saturday will be a pre-release party for the next Pokemon series, so I'll be checking that out. I'll probably end up getting, if they have pre-release kits, that would be great. Then I'll be coming back with a pre-release kit, and we'll check that out for show. Anywho, yeah, so I got all these. They have other rares you might have seen back here. There's a Rillaboom that I kept in the little sleeve that they gave me just because I didn't need to take it out for any reason. It was 50 cents. Those were individual. All these other ones basically came $1 for 10, so they're 10 cents each. And like I showed you again also earlier, when I started through these, I did evaluate all of this, and of course, Pokedata.io, the prices change relatively quickly, so that's good. I mean, they seem to be very up to date. So yeah, this is what we came up with. This is a number including the the ones that weren't 10 cents, the ones I bought individually that were mostly 50, and then I think there was one that was $1. And then so one of these numbers, I can't even remember now. Oh, obviously, yeah. So this is what we had without them. This is what we had. We made 27.29, and we spent 22.80. With them, and this is we only lost a little bit when it all was said and done with the individual ones. So we ended up 29.65 and 25.30 is what we paid. So made a bit, not much, but again, that like I said, whenever I did this price doesn't change. This one will. So hopefully that'll keep going up. That's the whole point. It's a nice little lesson, I think, especially for kids growing up. Good lesson in value, because as they grow, the cards also grow in value. And it's funny because we knew this as we were growing up, but me being not the smartest kid, didn't take as good of care of some of these as I could have, and I didn't stick with it as much as maybe I should have. And I was going to mention this, this is my month anniversary for getting back into Pokemon trading cards, collecting, hopefully battling at some point, getting the kids, nieces, nephews into it, hope maybe future children, of course, into it. As well, teaching them some lessons, but then also letting them use this as a great game, a great collection. I mean, there's so many, it's very versatile. And one thing it also is very wholesome. I'm using this as well as some of the other things that I've gotten into, recently, I guess, but not really. There's not a whole lot of anything else, I suppose, at the moment. But just trying to get back to more wholesome things, even for myself. Kind of cleanse the soul in that way too. Maybe I can't be perfect because I've been online. I've played all sorts of different types of games and whatever. So I've been all over the place. But just trying to get back to the simple things. And that's actually started last year around the beginning of November or whatever, with Pokemon in general, actually Pokemon Go. And that was really, I'm hoping to continue, but I'm hoping that can be used. And I'll be maybe showing some of this too on here, on Nerds Templar, using it as actually some slight community building even, because it is a game, but it involves so much interaction, real world interaction, even if you don't really want to. And even in a small town like ours, it's surprising how much interaction there could be. I see the potential for it. But then that got me into even the other Pokemon games. I got a Switch, started getting some of those games as well, collecting those, if you will, trying to collect the entire series of Pokemon games, but again, missing so many because of all the time I spent off doing so many other things that are less wholesome. But again, not that this isn't its own waste in a sense, but there are worse things. There are better things, but there are worse things. But anyway, toward the end of the collection, this is decently old. Some of these cards here, we got back into definitely through X and Y, and what was before that? Some of these maybe even black and no. There's the end of X and Y. These maybe whatever was before that, black and white, I think was what it was. And this Charmeleon even goes, I don't know where this Zora was from, but this Charmeleon even goes back. Oh yeah, there's black and white base set. So 4 of those. This thing is platinum, I think, Arceus set. So it came out when I was still in high school, so that's crazy. So that was a nice near bridge to my old collection, because it's really not too far off from the other stuff I got. Now that we're through here, yeah, this is taking a bit. I'm gonna, as you'll be seeing, I will be getting chapters put into these videos for you, and you'll be able to skip through if you don't want to see any of the intro stuff, or you don't want to see the current collection, or if you do want to see the current collection or whatever, you'll be able to just jump around at your leisure. So there's that. And then I'll put this in order of all these different things I'll be showing you. Was I going to show you? What was I going to show you? I think it was going to show you stuff. Something about. Oh yeah, yeah. It was just because I really don't have any more of them. The Aquapolis. I do have some more Aquapolis, but I don't have any more Fire Red and Leaf Green. But that Charmeleon does get us kind of close to the Fire Red theme deck, I guess, sort of, kinda, not really. Now this is in an order as well. I just can't. Okay, yeah, I did want to go right here because we do have some Aquapolis still, and some of them are quite good. Reverse Hollow Eevee. I don't know why Hoppip is here. That's a. Oh yeah, because I did put them in number order now instead of value order. But the Eevee, super valuable. The Meryl's pretty good in the Pupitar too, but Eevee's like $60 or something. So that's going to probably go in a sleeve, an individual sleeve once I can. Bellossom's also $60 or something, so that will also go in a sleeve. I think that's not quite 20, but getting there, the oddish. Reverse Hollows are pretty good. And then we do have some Expedition cards, not a ton, and none that are really worth much. Bulbasaur is actually the one that's the most valuable. Not quite $10, but he was nearing that. And then previous to that is what you see there. Sorry, I'm pulling something up you might be able to see on the computer there. I'm trying to pull up the set list, but as I'm doing a lot of stuff on my computer right now, it's kind of being slow. So then we go back to our Legacy collection. Okay, now I'm not sure what this one was called, but the one with the first remake. I guess base set 2 was sort of a remake, but the first remake after that. Which threw in all sorts of different stuff. I guess not all sorts of stuff. Pretty much just the first 3 base set, Jungle, Fossil, and then Team Rocket as well, as you can see from Dark Blastoise there. So yeah, this was a legendary collection. Right after the Neo cards. That's why, and so right before they started the E-card series. And the E-card series only lasted through Expedition, Aquapolis, and there was also Sky Ridge, and I had none of those. After that, apparently, I think that's when, according to this, you can probably see it just in the corner there, after Legendary Collection, which is this, and then the E-card series we just looked at, then that's when Wizards of the Coast didn't own it anymore, and that must have been just straight Nintendo for EX series. So the E card into the EX is very different, even though to me it doesn't seem all that different. These are both E card. EX is just the Fire Red deck that I have. You can see there, maybe 2004. So it is quite a gap between 2004 and eventually when that Charmeleon took place in Platinum Arceus there, November 2009. Anyway, this legendary collection is quite legendary. I wouldn't mind filling out the rest of my commons and uncommons in this because, as you'll see, it's maybe even the rares. I would have to check that. Maybe not the holo rares. An amazing Ninetales, which apparently I don't have in the regular collection, so that's cool. I'm glad to have that. Same with Alakazam. Don't have either of those in the regular card form, whatever it was. I think Alakazam was base set, and I think Ninetales was also base set, actually. And that was the base set Zapdos, base set for Gyarados. Yeah, several rares. You'll see Magneton, another Magneton in a bit. Here, the Pidgeotto is still a rare here. There's some rares that are now uncommons in this, and even maybe some uncommons that are commons. They kind of switched some things up. The Pidgeotto and the Golduck are damaged. I would probably get some replacements of those if they aren't too much. Of course, still uncommons here, but not too bad on the uncommons. I mean, we have like at least half, I would say. Snorlax an uncommon there. Dratini is now a common, so we see here the start of that. I think this would have been Abra. Obviously, we would need an Abra if there's a Kadabra. So that would be the start of the commons there. And so you can see we pretty much have all the commons. And Weedle is last. So not too bad. We could easily do the commons. And again, if I would be lucky enough to find the right vendor on TCG Player that had them all, then that'd be like one $5 order, if that. I'd probably just make it a $5 order by adding some other cards we would need from other sets, just because I try, because most of the time it's free shipping on $5 orders. So you just try to hit that $5 and get the free shipping, because if not, you're usually going to pay $5+ anyway for the shipping included. So might as well just hit 5. And you do end up, especially if you're fishing for commons and uncommons, you're going to end up with a good bit for $5, quite a few. So, and again, I've been looking for lightly played and near mint and some moderately played. So if I'm just looking for heavily played stuff and maybe moderately played if they're cheap for like use, then yeah, that's gonna be very cheap, I think, for making decks, even other decks, if I want to make them, because I haven't really even looked into like newer cards, how much are newer-ish cards, the ones in the middle that I don't have, that aren't too old, how much would those be singled if they're moderately used? I mean, we could be talking like 2 cents each, 3 cents each, and so you could almost get the entire set for less than $5. Anyway, I digress for now. Here's some more of those Balloonberries, but these are probably the original Balloonberry cards. The other ones are like, again, those are from the Nintendo's EX series, the first Nintendo sets, and that was the third one, called Dragon, and that was 3, in fact, before Fire Red and Leaf Green. And again, with these are before Legendary Collection. Now we're into the Neo series. These were Neo series as well. These were Neo Destiny. I'm sorry, I'm probably talking way too much about this stuff, but just so you know, this is probably all going to be together in its own, all the Neos in the Legendary Collection, and basically everything else that came after the originals, which was base set Jungle, Fossil, base set 2, Team Rocket, Gym Heroes, and Gym Challenge. That'll be in one binder. Then all 4 of the Neo series, the Legendary Collection, and the little bit I have of Expedition, Aquapolis, and Skyridge will be in a binder by themselves. Then I'll have probably a binder for everything like mid-range, and then I'll have a binder for everything that's new, like Sword and Shield Plus. So anyway, Neo, last one, Revelation. What was it? No, Neo Destiny, and then Neo Revelation. Pretty much only the rares left of this, which makes me sad and also makes me wonder where all the others are. Same with my Neo Discovery here. Upset about it. And I do have some Neo Genesis, but I don't think I did all of them. Obviously, I didn't do the most valuable ones. All the holo rares are still here. I think maybe those are the only ones in the, so I guess those are all duplicates those are leaning against behind there. All my duplicate Neo Genesis, but again, Neo Genesis, I only have the rares and then these 2 uncommons randomly. But I looked, and if you made it to this point in the video, then spoiler alert, I will have one package coming with some more Neo Genesis cards. And then I just filled out the end with some of the energies, because they would have, if I put one of each, it would have ended here. So then I just filled out the rest, whatever. That's that. The steel energy actually would have gone where I put it, but I put 3 of them there because this would actually be 19, 20, 21, and then that Elekid's 22. So this would have been, if I put one more page in here, then that would be the first 18 of the Neo Genesis set. And then I could just pull these out if I had number 19, 20, and 21 to throw in there. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be too bad to finish off the Neo Genesis, and I think it's worth it because we have so many of the, we almost have all the rares already, and we have maybe about almost half of the holo rares, which we probably won't really ever worry about getting any holo rares for any sets, but they still at least will be in their place. and so they'll make the set at least look a little more legit. But if we can get the rares, that'd be great. And there's only 2 other rares in this set we don't have. There's only, I guess that means there's only 6 total. Cleffa, and I can't remember what the other one was. Cleffa and something else though. But there's that, and yeah, so really then all the commons and uncommons, not too bad. We have literally all the trainers except 1, I think. So not the worst thing to finish off there. I think that'll be good for the beginning of the second binder, basically. And anyway, so the beginning of this binder currently, and what'll probably always be in here, are all the off-brand, or basically just the tops. It'll be the tops binder, which will pretty much never change, although you'll see how close I am to finishing these sets, some of these series as well, and I'm very tempted. This is actually series 1. There are only 12 cards in it. There's 9 of them. There's of course holo versions. They also had these die cut cards. The other ones, and you may have seen the unhollow versions of each Dratini, Dragonair, and Dragonite sitting down in the other area, leaning against my big TV. That's as a little display there. So I do have them, but I don't have them in here. I just have I have extra, at least 1 extra Dragonair and Dragonite, and 1 more of one of those. I can't remember which. But then this is my nice hollow Dragonair, so I put that in the sleeve. Then we start with the actual Series 2 that they had here. And again, you'll see how much, and I have duplicates of a lot of these. That's what that pile again is, with the Nidoran on top. Beautiful. Almost all of them. Charmeleon missing though, that's unfortunate. A few of these missing. No Pikachu. Sandshrew and Sandslash are both gone. Only Nidoran female and Nidoran male. No evolutions of those. We do, so you can see there are a lot of holes, there are a lot of gaps in this collection, but at the same time, I would say I probably have at least half. An awesome Kadabra there. In fact, I'm only, these are only the I don't even know what to call them, like, because there's these hollows that I would keep in here. If I didn't have just the unhollow version, but then there's even like extra hollow versions. We'll see those in a second. I think I've put them all at the end. Like Mankey, I have a Mankey, and so that's why you don't see Mankey here at all, because I didn't want to put him here. But I do have a Mankey. In fact, the card's worth a decent bit, I think, because all of them pretty much that are the super hollows are worth a bit more. So yeah, again, you can see I have some chunks in here filled out, but then there's some chunks missing. Especially, we're at number 100, 101 here. I don't know how that happened. Did we start? Where did we start with this that we ended up with number 92 at the end? How did that happen? We must have got something wrong here, because that should not obviously be. They should be in multiples of 9. 27. So that's still good. Oh, well, that's one. So 33, 4, 5, 36. 42, 43, 45. 54. So 65. Oh, wait, 65. What did we do here? Wow. 54. So we really messed this up. It was because I thought I must have just not realized there was a gap between Persian and Mankey and just kept going. But yeah, 54, 55, and then it would be 56, and 57 would be Primeape here. So that explains it. But that's okay, because anyway, 100, 101. See, math sometimes, simple math, can be useful. Here's where things start falling off soon. Cool that we had a Hitmonchan. Hitmonlee would be nice to have too. It'd be great to get here. My goal for this is to finish off this page, which is Horsey, Seadra, Goldeen Seeking, I think maybe next, or Staryu, I think it's Goldeen Seeking, because I felt like those would be cheaper than Staryu and Starmie. So I'm gonna bait, but whatever it is, I'm gonna finish off this page here, because Horsey's the last one I have, and then I'll bet that a lot of those after that get pretty expensive because those are pretty good Pokemon after that. Here, though, you see the duplicates. There's there's the 2 Dragonair and Dragonite duplicates I have there, and also 3 Blastoise. Those are the ones from that first set there. But these are all like the ultra, the super hollows, like they're thick. This one's actually just a regular Electrode because I had an unhollow version. But actually this Mankey's even different. That's a sparkle. You can sort of see the sparkliness. I don't know what's up with this Victory Bell because there's no other card like it. All these ones, they have like the etching, but then it's like they're laminated over the etching. And then all the hollows that don't have the laminated or the etching, they're just a regular hollow, like this Electrode. Except this Victory Bell, which is just a regular hollow with no lamination, but with etching, and so you can actually feel that. And I don't know if that was supposed to be that way. It was really hard to tell. These aren't on tcgplayer.com or anything for me to look at. I had to look at, it's like a more generic card value site. I can't remember what it is, but it seems like a really good one too. But that's where I had to go for all the Topps ones. And they had all the different versions, but I wasn't sure which ones were which. It was hard to tell. So anyway, that's the end of those. Of course, those are duplicates. These came, and those were done in 2 different sets. They did half and then another half or whatever. The first ones, these came with, actually, these came with, yeah. These came with the first 52 or whatever. And there were, I think there were more of these. Oh yeah, definitely more of these because these are only up to 5. So there was number 1, 2, 3, and 4 TV, and there may have even been some after 13. And you might be wondering why it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in that order. Also, this Meowth is like that Victory Bell, and that it's I guess it was technically from the same set, even though they're different. They did come in the same series. So this is an unlaminated hollow, but with the, what did I call it? Like the etching on it. So you can feel that on this Meowth too, which is really cool. Which is why I was wondering, because I don't have a Meowth. I thought I had a hollow Meowth like that in here. And I'm like, well, I was wondering where it was. That's what I was thinking of. It's this TV one, which you can't see too much because of my camera, I just realized now. But the reason that they're backwards is because of this. Hey, look how cool that is. So yeah, OG Topps, like, technically their second series, because again, that first one was just those 12 cards, the 3 starter evolution sets, and then Dratini's, the dragons. But that's awesome. It was cool that those are the only ones I had, yet I was able to make the whole thing out of it. That was nice. Obviously, seems like that was kind of done purposely by me at some point. And then these came with the other half of these cards. That these came with the first half. These were with the second half, the TV cards. I think there's 24 of them total. Actually, almost have all of these too. So that would be an easy thing to fill out. Also, this would probably be, I just thought of it, would also be easy to fill out, I'm sure. Because I think there may only be a few others that are the first 4 or whatever, and then maybe a couple after, maybe. But then this, yeah, I'm only missing, what, 1 there. 2, 3, 4. Only 4, yeah, because this is the last one. Episode 25, not 24. And then there's a couple extra hollows I have of those. These are both really awesome. I'm sure those are worth a bit. The what's that episode? The Ghost of Maiden Peak episode. So you have a cool hollow of the ghost girl turning into Ghastly, basically. And then, of course, the Bill and Dragonite episode, Mystery at the Lighthouse. Another pretty awesome one. And I do think when I looked them up there, both. And then another, finally, Pokemon the first movie. Another that is very complete. Almost completely complete. I think I'm going to reorder these so that it goes this direction, because of course when you're looking at them, anyone would be tempted to turn the thing to look at them like this, like I'm trying to hold them. But if you do, then they're not in order because they're still going this direction, like all other cards. So I might just have to reorder all these for because of their orientation to the landscape. I love this holo here. I don't have an unholo version of this last card, but I love that so much. Oh, also, and you may have seen it down by the TV as another display piece, I do have the holo versions of both of the first two of these, and I think that makes an amazing display. And those are also both worth quite a bit. And this one is too, I think. It's not there, it's on this one. And then right after, so the first movie comes first, the first movie proper, and then it reverts to the prequel thing, the mini, the Pika mini that comes before the movie. The cards come afterward. So then I also have those almost all of them. One missing there, two there, three there. I thought this was a little less complete, but actually that's pretty good. Only three it looks like we're missing. And then of course a bunch of holos of the extra holos. And these are all the extra holos from both the first movie and the Pika prequel. Actually, those are all first movie holos, I suppose. Maybe I finished off this page with the Pika prequel holos. Say that 10 times fast. And then finally the movie holos, because that just is how it worked out that there was 9 of them. So that's a really awesome page. Probably worth a decent bit here. I'll bet you these two are worth a decent bit. I'm pretty sure they are. I think these two weren't bad. I think this is a cool holo because Dragonite's awesome in my opinion. Speaking of, just quickly, because I didn't show you where we are with our Wizards of the Coast promos. Oh yeah, and so I'm missing actually 4 slots there because as you can tell, do not use that because it's ripped in the middle. But at the end here, so we will have number 1 promo right there because that's the end of base set. So it just works out, and it works out even better because there were 4 movie promos from 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we have all of them now. These came from the same source, Electabuzz and Dragonite, and Pikachu came from somewhere else. And we had Mewtwo already. I already had a Pikachu as well, but I'm still missing some cards, and I guess I must have sold more than I thought. Or there's somewhere another box because I just have them all over the place. I don't know. That would be amazing if I found a box of Neo Genesis cards. That would be so amazing, because there would probably be a decent bit if I did find it, if it existed. Anywho, so yeah, all 4 of those. Eventually we'll have the Pika number 1 promo because that's pretty cheap. Fill out this page pretty soon, hopefully. At least up to, it'd be nice to get up to number 14 Mewtwo here because we already have that. And then maybe eventually get these other ones. They might not be too bad. I think those first ones are probably the more expensive ones. They're not really. They're all pretty cheap, honestly. But then we already had 2 Pikachus from number 27 here. And then finally in number 29, Meryl we already had. And that finished off all of the slots in that book perfectly. But I wouldn't mind, because there's like 53 or so, I wouldn't mind getting all the World Wizards of the Coast promos at some point and putting them in a mini portfolio, which holds 60. Wouldn't be a bad idea. But I think for the time being, soon that Silver Tempest mini portfolio, the only one we have, that'll probably be for all newer promos and deck exclusives, things like that. The things that are already in the back of there, basically. Because that'll slowly get more filled out, I think. And then this is all we have from Pokemon the Movie 2000, honestly, because I only have 9 cards from this. And maybe have to look at how... Oh, there's a decent bit, because this goes up by itself to 52. But it starts with the short here instead of the other way around. Yeah, the short's 11. So... And this is, I guess, toward the end. There might have been about 60 of these, though. So I have 9. I would probably just end up... I wouldn't mind just selling off all 9 of these. 1 holo, it's that natives up there. So our holo wasn't even Pokemon related. It's just a bunch of people in tribal masks. Like, thanks a lot. And then we're back to, Aquapolis. And... going back in time, where again we'll finish off a legendary collection. Will we ever get more Aquapolis and more Expedition? Maybe. And that's, I don't know. It really all depends. You guys maybe you guys will be the determining factor in that. Finally, lastly, the new binder. Not new cards though. We already looked at those, but the new binder, which is now. I mean, this is I don't know what to call it. This is permanent, the permanent binder that should never have to change because it is the original series from base set to gym challenge. So I'll be filling it in, hopefully almost completely, but I won't have to do anything else other than add cards to what's already here. So of course, starting with base set, I even left room for all of the holo rares. I do have Charizard, but I took him out. He's on display right now. He's in a sleeve inside a hard sleeve because he's worth $350. And he's like, in my holo Charizard is near mint for sure. I would certainly like to get it graded, but for now, yeah, it's in a sleeve, in a harder cased sleeve thing on display down with the Pikachu V. It's also, you won't see because I don't have base set 2 done, but I also have base set 2 holo Blastoise, and he's also on display in a sleeve within a hard case because he's like $80 I think or something. So I think those were my 2 most expensive cards, but then I also have a few more that were over 50. So eventually I'll get all those in sleeves, at least in extra sleeves to go in these, just so I feel a little safer about them. But I would love it if they were in something a little more rigid. That's why Charizard and Blastoise are not in here, just in case. Not that I'm that stingy about it, but hey, together they are over $400, so it's not nothing for a poor guy like me. Anyway, one of our Hitmonchan, like I said earlier, it's probably not actually base set, so I don't know about all that. It's kind of cheap. Then we still got our Mewtwo in here, which is worth a bit. Raichu and Zapdos as well. Then we start into the unholo rares, just a few of those. Got all of those. In fact, base set is complete. But I will point out one more thing that I wanted to discuss today. First, let's just flip quickly to right after this. Here you can just see the completeness of it, at least up until the trainers, so I didn't worry about that yet. But again, new binder, new sleeves, lovely, just sliding across the binder binds. Did the same thing pretty much with the energies, just did 2 of each. And then of course there was 1 spot left, so there's a nice spot for my crazy legendary Mew there. But anyway, yeah, let's go back here real quick. So got Staryu there. That is one of my own Staryus, because although I did pretty much buy one of everything from base set before I found my base set, and luckily it didn't cost very much, but I did it, so that was unfortunate. But this was the Staryu I got, and I didn't notice at first, of course, because it's not exactly something you notice, I guess, immediately, but maybe you'll notice something. The first thing I noticed about it was 40 PI, and I'm like, what is that? What kind of typo is that for HP? And then when I looked closer, I realized Beauxaton is not English, and neither is anything else it's saying, because it's a Spanish card. So, Español, no hablo. So this was from obviously one of the vendors that did the single cards. This was Side of Ice that delivered this one. The rest of it seemed good from him. In fact, he is, if you're still with me, this is another spoiler, I suppose. I told you earlier I have some Neo Genesis cards coming. He's actually the person I got them from. I have, again, several vendors to get all of them, and he was the first purchase I made because it was the sort of cheapest and the bulkiest. So I went with that one first, and it was like the most common and whatever. So, but then I actually realized before I made I saw this before I made that purchase, so I was aware. But it was like, man, I hope he doesn't have too many more Spanish cards, and I hope I don't get any more. So, unfortunately, yeah, Side of Ice did give me a Spanish card, and we'll just have to see how he does this time, I guess. If there's another problem, then I don't know. We'll have to reconsider purchasing from him again. But something that was more of an issue than that. Yeah, two of them are in here, and one luckily I didn't have to put in my actual collection, but two of these I did because I don't have any extras. Dugong and Dragonair, in fact, right next to each other makes it a little easier. As I looked at my cards a little closer, I noticed something odd. What is up with the HP? And these are not the only cards I've seen like this in my lifetime. That's not right. There's something definitely amiss with those cards. Is this? Yes. I've had this for a long time. This Abra, which may or may not also be the same. And I've checked it under light and I can't see through it. So at least it passed that test. But it's the same way. It's the same thing. It's like a little off colored too. And then the HP is thin. Why is it thinner than it's supposed to be? Again, look, doesn't the Dugong almost look like it's a little, maybe you can't tell on camera, but it does seem like it's a bit light. Like it's just doesn't have as much color to it. Harder to tell with Dragonair because it's a white card, but can kind of see that too maybe in the picture. So that is 3 cards, counting this Ivysaur. And there's another maybe a better close-up of what that looks like, that thin HP. It's like not bolded font. And look at the difference in the color of the greens, the color of the border, just the fadedness of that card compared to the regular ones. 3 cards, all from the same vendor, and they're the only ones that are like that. This, again, this Abra is mine from a long, long time ago. But you can see the difference there in the HPs very clearly. So Dugong, Dragonair, Ivysaur. What is that? 2 uncommons and a rare, an unhollow rare, is what I got screwed with. That's not very good, fellas. That's not so good. In the last video, I'm going to do it right now, and then I'm going to mention it again maybe later, that I thought perhaps somebody had sent me, it was Tiny Cardboard Nation, I believe is what their name was, sent me fake cards, and this is not one of them. This is one that I've had for a while that I suspected may also be fake. It was a Dugong, a Dragonair, and an Ivysaur. And this is an Abra. But it's very similar in that the only thing that caught me off guard about them is this weird looking HP. Like, didn't understand why the HP was like not bold print, whatever you want to call it, bold whatever. Like this one, which is another strange one I got from a TCG player, a different vendor, which everything else was good. This one's just randomly a Spanish card. But like, see how it's like in that, and now I'm starting to understand. I've looked before to try to figure out what the difference between the regular base set and the Shadowless quote unquote base set was. And I think finally, and I don't know why, I was like, what shadows? What are these shadows they speak of? I think maybe we've discovered what it is. And so they weren't fake cards that I got. They were Shadowless base set instead of the regular base set. Now I can see several shadows now that I'm actually looking. One obvious one is the one behind the frame to the bottom right, going bottom right of it. But I guess when you look real close, that is the difference, I believe, is I think a bit of a shadow behind the 40 pi there. So yeah, I guess they aren't fake. So sorry, guys. Thanks. I guess I mean they're not necessarily the right cards, but they'll do, I suppose. I might end up getting another Dragonair anyway. I have more Ivysaurs, so that wasn't a problem. And what was the other one I said? Dugong. Might get another. Actually, I am getting another Dugong because I found one that's not too expensive that would go with an order that I was already going to get. And then the Dragonair might just wait. But I did also find another card I was interested in from somebody who had a Dragonair that I would be willing to buy. So anyway, but you can see, yeah, the rest of the collection is looking fantastic, and there's a decent bit of duplicates of some of these. Yeah, so there's that. Go through into the energies, and that is a good demarcation of series as we then get into Jungle, which came next. It leaves a lot to be desired right now, especially in the realm of rares. The unhollow rares, it's not so bad, I guess. Could be worse. I mean, I'm missing a few there. Got Vileplume, Wigglytuff to round off those rares at the end. And as you get in again to the uncommons and the commons, it would be very easy. In fact, I'll probably be doing it soon. Just getting a couple orders if I can, hopefully, to finish off both of the uncommon and common places in Jungle and Fossil, because you'll see Jungle. I think Fossil's more complete than Jungle, and Jungle's pretty much almost done. Should be done. I don't know how it's not. It's crazy that it's not. And that's the end of it. And Vaporeon is an extra. And you remember I said about those theme decks? Vaporeon was one of them. I'm assuming that's why we have an extra Holo Vaporeon. Because we had a theme deck, the Water Blast Jungle theme deck, which included it. And then we get into our Fossil. A few Holo rares from there as well. And again, the unhollow rares. Not terrible. Not terrible. I'm probably going to eventually do the unhollow rares as well, with probably mostly everything. And again, not really worried about the hollow rares. That's a whole different league, in my opinion. But then I'd like to have some duplicates, enough of some things at least, especially the commons and uncommons, just to use them in battle. Anywho, yeah, rounding off the uncommons here. Actually, all the uncommons from Fossil and all the commons from Fossil. And then again, had one random slot, so I stuck my random Japanese Steelix there. Random Japanese Holo Steelix. So yeah, Fossil's actually amazing. Fossil's done, other than the unhollow rares. So there you have it. This is really the first time you're able to see, I guess, the full collection, because before it was all scattered around and whatnot. But here it is. It's almost complete already. Missing one. Wow, is that it? So we're only missing one uncommon in Jungle. And that's all between Jungle and Fossil that we're missing. So never mind. That is already done. We're just gonna have to look for that uncommon we're missing, and eventually I'll just grab it, maybe in some other random order, or maybe we'll grab a bunch of the unhollow. Well, a couple, I should say, just a couple unhollow rares from these two sets, because that'll easily put us over $5, I'm sure, getting a few of them. But again, the at the end there, I have duplicates of rares and hollow rares. Mostly hollow rares, but I also kept the rares from here. I have duplicate rares in base set, but not the Fossil and Jungle. I kept those in here because there weren't that many. I did have several Raichus. You see a first edition there. But then again, theme deck related, something had a Lapras. I can't remember which theme deck it was, but there is one with a Lapras. And then the other one Those must have been the 2 fossil theme decks. But this is Bodyguard theme deck, had the Muck, have extras of both of those. That would probably be why. And then we get into Team Rocket. Team Rocket, the hollows, really bad, only 2 of them, but that Dark Blastoise is worth a good bit. Get into the unhollow rares though, and there's only 2 before Blastoise, so we're missing both of those. Missing 2 here, one of them being Dark Charizard, which I know I had an unhollow Dark Charizard. I don't know where it is. At least I found my base set hollow Charizard. That's enough, I guess. I'm happy enough with that. But that means I will have to get like a heavily played Dark Charizard or something just to get one that's not too costly. Everything else isn't bad though. Okay, grab those up. A couple other rares there. And then the uncommons here for Team Rocket aren't bad. I would need a few, but it's not too terrible. Wartortle, the last one. Well, okay, there's a couple others there. Magikarp and Porygon also. But they're not darks, so that's why they're after Dark Wartortle. And then as far as the commons go, just 1, 2, not counting trainers, I think. Oh, wait. Yeah, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. Just because, again, I would have had slots left, and that's pretty much all I had of those energies as well. Oh, wait, I have more. You can see right there. Yeah, I'll just maybe eventually have to get 3 of the other one, because there's 1 more of these types that would go there. And then, again, 2 more trainers there to finish off. And then, yeah, but I'm not always worried about those as the 1, 2 commons and the 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 probably uncommons. That's not bad at all. Not at all. Actually, and I'm waiting, still waiting. Maybe you saw it by now. Maybe it came and you saw the video of me opening the small package of a few cards that contained the Dark Vaporeon that would now be somewhere in here toward the end, I guess. I guess it would be right here. Yeah, one of these spots, probably this one. And hey, how about that? Dark Vaporeon. Got another. Also Dark Flareon came, but that was just kind of to get enough in the order. And I think what else was there? There was a first edition of the Jungle Eevee, Jungle series Eevee. This one, not this one, this one. This Eevee's pretty cool though. Rocket Eevee. Rocket series. Again, Rocket's pretty much done, so that's amazing. And there's a first edition of the Rocket Eevee. Just a few first editions there. That one's worth a decent bit, worth more than the Dark Primate. Not as much as the Dark Golbat rare, though. Of course, of all the rares, Dark Golbat's what I get. I must have gotten 1 first edition booster. Those are exactly enough places, again, counted out. If I wanted someday to have the holo rares of what we're now into, the Gym Challenge, is that what comes first? I always forget. I think it was Gym Challenge and then Gym Heroes. But yeah, so I have enough of those counted off, and now we start at 43 is our first card, uncommons. But again, I wouldn't. I don't think it'd be bad with as many. There's not a bunch. I don't have a ton, but I do think I have almost enough of the commons and uncommons to warrant filling this out slower than the other series, but still filling it out. Because look at once we get into Misty and Sabrina and these commons, we have like all of them. Oh, until then we get here, then we have like none at the very end. Those might be mostly trainers though, because these are, well, those are uncommon trainers, so maybe not. And more trainers, and then these 2 series also had their own energies, so they're pretty much a whole. Unfortunately, for now, a whole thing. I don't know if I'll change. Maybe I won't change that, because again, I have exactly enough sleeves for exactly all the cards I will need in here, so I don't need to change the sleeves or anything in this. It's perfect how it is. And then this is the beginning of the Gym Hero Challenge. No, Gym Heroes and now Gym Challenge. And we actually have some holo rares there, so it's not as sad of a beginning. That's number 13 and 15, so actually on the first page of this series. Two really good ones too. That Misty's Gyarados is nice. And this, we have more of this series, so I'm definitely going to be filling this one out. See some on holo rares, not a whole lot, but a few. The Dodrio's not. I guess it's just Nidoqueen, but there may not be a whole lot of them. But then again, mostly focusing on the commons and uncommons. And if we're just focused on that, again, I would say probably over half of these, of the commons and uncommons. So that one shouldn't be too bad to finish off. Again, I'm not sure about values of them, but if I'm just seeking out like around moderate, trying not to get heavily played, but really just worried about moderate, lightly played, I don't need something that's near mint. Again, it shouldn't be too bad. So we'll see. And then finishing off with its own energy slots. And these are actually all of my gym energies of both Challenge and Heroes. They all went into the binder. You can see I could maybe, if I wanted, fill my colored energy sheets out. Who knows how much that would cost. There's the other one here. It's much less because I only have a few, but that's be Fighting Fire, Grass, Lightning, Psychic, Water, Fighting Fire, Grass, Lightning, Psychic, Water, and then one more set of the 6. But that's it. That is all I have for you guys. There's it. My month anniversary, everything I've kind of been learning, and what I've done, what I've sort of, how I've set everything up here. My goal is to have, again, there's going to be then the Neo cards, and the Neo will include the Legendary collection, and I would even maybe include the E-card series in that. What it would really end up being is like Wizards of the Coast #2. It's crazy. I never see that Legendary Mew card that I showed you was in here, I think. And just now on Bulbapedia, the thing I'm using here, you can see it. Watch, I'll show you. Look at what just popped up on an ad right there. That card. What's it say? 2018 Pokemon Ancient Mew miscellaneous cards and product. That's not what I have. Mine's from like 2001 or something. Mine's from like the first movie. Anyway, yeah, so it'll probably be that Neo series, Legendary, and E-card series, the part 2 of Wizards of the Coast sets going in their own binder. And maybe that means that other than Sky Ridge, which would be the last of the E-card series, because I don't have any of those, maybe I'll try my best to at least fill out commons and uncommons in Expedition and Aquapolis from E-card series. And yeah, really, that's it. The Neo series, if I wanted to fill all those out, that's going to be the daunting task. So that's probably where I'll be, and not really even Genesis, because I've already kind of done half of that, I guess. And I have so many of the unholo rares already. But Discovery, Revelation, and definitely Destiny. It'll take a bit to do that. Everything else, though, I think I can probably accomplish pretty fast and pretty cheaply, just to finish off those sets. And other than that, it'll be searching around on TCG Player for some cheap sealed products of earlier stuff. Well, not earlier than that, but later stuff that's still earlier than the newer stuff. And I'm talking like maybe, I'm hoping to be able to find some good like black and white and XY stuff for pretty cheap that's sealed still. Definitely Sun and Moon as well. Of course, Sword and Shield is easy to find, and Scarlet and Violet is now. So that's really, that's where we're at. And anything earlier than black and white, I'm not too worried about, because that's going to be too hard. And I don't have any to start with to even begin a collection. That'd be all, really, there's not a whole lot. Basically all of the EX and the Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So that little section there, honestly. And then also whatever the Call of Legends series was, which is probably a lot like the Legendary collection, maybe. After that's black and white. Black and white might be a bit hard, but we do have some cards from the comic shop just to start off, just a few of each, maybe just one or two of each, or most of the black and white series already. So it kind of gives us a foot in the door, even if it's just like a toenail. And then XY shouldn't be very hard to accomplish. It'll just cost a little more than like a Sun and Moon collection would. But again, on TCGplayer.com, that stuff easy enough to do. I've rambled long enough, guys. I hope you enjoyed this sort of long month update. I hope you're enjoying now that I actually am putting the videos out. And like I've said in past ones, now that I'm doing that, maybe as I catch up with that, maybe we'll go live. I've been actually very surprised with the amount of views and stuff and likes and whatever that I've received already, almost like at the very initial point starting of this. So definitely gives me motivation, incentive to continue. And yeah, so please continue to support, especially if this kind of stuff is what you want to see. And like I said, I will be getting probably soon into more, I'll do it in a different kind of series, where we'll just talk about like the philosophy, the worldview behind Pokemon. We'll talk about the pros, the cons, the good and the bad, the ugly, where it jives with Catholicism, or just natural law, or just, you know, reality, and where it doesn't, where maybe it's okay where it doesn't, and where maybe it's kind of problematic where it doesn't. So there's all sorts of in that realm fun and interesting things to talk about. Maybe you're a little less interested in that, but maybe you'll find some interest in it. So maybe just maybe tune in anyway if you don't think you'd be interested, because we'll probably be touching on, and that'll be a series, like a podcast like thing, but we'll be touching on the card game, the video game, and the anime, probably all three of those. And then also like Pokemon Go, almost as an offshoot from video game talk. But we'll even cover those all individually, cover them together, talk about all sorts of stuff. So make sure you give a like, comment on whatever, because again, I'm a noob. Maybe you're learning something. Maybe you can, I'm sure you can teach me. There's a lot of you out there that could teach me a lot. Be sure to drop your comments, drop your questions. They'll probably also get answered by people more knowledgeable than I am. And again, that'll just show me that I should continue to do this, and to have you join me in my Pokemon trading card game collection adventures. And we'll also going to be getting into the battling and things too, and I'll sort of, even for the sake of the parents watching, we'll get into some of that other stuff, and how I'm going to approach introducing my nieces and my nephews, and again, hopefully my future children, to all this, the trading card game, even again, the video games, probably not the anime ever. But anyway, this has gone on long enough. I hope you enjoyed. I'm Randy. This is Nerds Templar. Thanks for coming. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.